Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today I am recording this podcast on video, so if you are watching on screen, hello. We're going to be talking about the business system that I personally wish I was taught in the beginning of my business journey. This is a system that prioritizes balance, that is, between structure and flow. Because let's face it, there are so many people teaching business these days, and it can be really easy to just get lost in the sea of business professionals and experts teaching you their way. Now, if there's anything you need to know about me and my style of teaching business, it's that I personally believe that you being able to stay in your zone and work out your own flow with your business and find a rhythm that leverages your strengths and systems that support what you want to prioritize in life, that is the sweet spot to which you unlock effortlessness and ease in business. And it may be countercultural, counterintuitive, and totally against every other thing that you've been taught in business. But I really do believe that when we find our personal rhythm with our business, that is when the magic happens. And for a long time, so many of us, including myself, believed that there was no systematic or predictable way to do this. And we would say things like, it's not possible to just depend on flowiness or feeling good to build your business and to make it sustainable and to generate revenue and income with it. But that, my friends, is why I have dove deep, if that's even a word, and established this entire world of flow-based business. I have created a system called the Business Without Hustle system that I'm now rolling out officially and teaching this to the world of female entrepreneurs. Well, it applies for every entrepreneur, but particularly I'm here to serve females who want to learn to build business in a flowy way, but not in a way that is unreliable and unstable. No. A process and a system that actually works, but is also incredibly balanced. And the thing about this system that I wish I learned and had when I started my business is that it is really so personal. It is something that is tailored to you, and it speaks to the part of us as human beings. Remember, you are not your business. You are a human being first. It speaks to your humanity and allows you to live a lifestyle that prioritizes what you value and to simultaneously build a successful business without having to trade your joy, your peace, your time with your loved ones, and everything else that matters to you. Because far too often and for too long in the business space have I seen entrepreneurs and women in particular in business sacrifice what they love and just adopt these strategies that just do not serve them or work with their energy and their strengths. So I have been building this concept, this system, this framework, and basically this entire vocabulary around flow-based systems and flow-based business, and have been testing it on myself, my students, and have been researching it for the last few years. And finally, I'm now beginning to roll these concepts out. Soon enough, if you listen on and continue to stay in my world, you will find out more about how you can actually work with me and learn these frameworks and systems from me. I'm going to be releasing a whole bunch of exciting content and programs for you to be a part of if this style of business sounds like it's the one for you. So let's get into the topic, okay? Today we're going to dive into the difference between traditional business systems and the business without hustle system. We're also going to address the question, how much is too much planning and structure? And how do you balance that with more flow and spaciousness? What does a sustainable business structure actually look like? And what are the structures that are needed in your business in order for it to thrive, in order for it to sustain and support you without draining the life out of you. And lastly, we're going to talk about the underrated MVP called systems. And systems, while they do sound unsexy, I'm going to help you understand systems in a way that creates absolute and total freedom for you and show you what kind of systems you can implement today in your business, whether you have a small business or one that has been growing and scaling for the last few years or is on the trajectory to do so. See, the business without hustle system, it does not discriminate. It is something that you can take and adopt to every single business model, because the premise of this system is to basically unhustle your strategies and approaches to business. And hustle comes with lots of different layers. Hustle can show up in our businesses from our workflows all the way through to how we organize and how structured versus chaotic they are, through to how we channel our creativity and our energy. There are so many components of what makes a thriving and sustainable business, and hustle is something that often underpins the identity of our entire business. It's weaved into the DNA. And so when we're talking about building a freedom-based business, it's really going into the roots and understanding where hustle mentality, hustle-based strategies have infiltrated those structures and are ultimately affecting how we engage with our business and how we feel when we are building it and working towards goals. Because a lot of entrepreneurs, from what I have seen working with clients and from the community that I have online, what I see is that so many of us are literally trapped by the businesses we have built because we have followed or adopted strategies from successful business owners or experts in the industry who have taught us their way. We have adopted their expertise and done their copy-paste, cookie-cutter things, and while it may have worked for us to get us to where we are today, we are beginning to recognize and awaken to the fact that doing business this way is just not sustainable, simply because we are not them. We don't have the same values. We are our own person with our own strengths, our own values, our own preferences. And it's important that as a purpose-led entrepreneur, that our business is in alignment to us. Otherwise, we stop showing up for it. Now, I know you might be saying, well, if I have systems in place and automations, then I don't need to worry about having to always be showing up for my business. But that is where the other part of business without hustle system factors in. See, the work in business is more than just external work, like building the structures, creating your offerings, having a marketing strategy, being consistent, having workflows. These are all great. They're all external and they're all needed. However, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath what runs an operating and sustainable business is actually the internal work. This is the intangibles. And I'm going to dive deeper into this in this episode. The intangibles consist of your belief systems, how you think, your CEO level self-care activities, all the way through to the values you hold and what your boundaries are and how you communicate them. There are so many intangibles that often are not established, let alone maintained in the entrepreneurial journey, that when push comes to shove, the entrepreneur and everything they have built on top, all the skills, all the structure, all the amazing landing pages, all the investments in the structure, eventually crumble. If not crumble on their own, you begin to question them and feel out of alignment to them. This is how you build a business that eventually collapses on itself. So the business without hustle framework is really for someone who does feel a personal connection to what they are building in their business, is purpose-led in your mission, and is wanting to create a sustainable relationship with your business that does not involve hustling your way to results. So, on to my notes. I'm going to get so sidetracked here. So, here's what happens when we are overly stuck in structure or the tangibles, like the stuff that I said the tip of the iceberg was. This is what we, by the way, place so much emphasis on, and so many coaches are teaching just this in business, like just the strategics, just the actions to take and the things to do to get your business off the ground. This is what happens when we are purely stuck on those traditional strategies and not factoring in the intangible tools, the intangible skills needed for longevity, the underneath part of the iceberg. It happens to be that you eventually lose a fire or a love for your business. You become overly fixated or obsessed with your deadlines and timelines. You become chained to your business, meaning you're unable to stop working. You are too fixated on having to do everything yourself. Or if you have a team, you get into that micromanaging mode where you feel like there's just constant mountain of things to do and you're constantly on their backs about everything. And then you get frustrated and it's this feedback loop of never being fulfilled by your business. You're not able to receive new inspiration or create uniquely, which then affects your magnetism and your positioning in the industry, because it means that your content, your presence, your brand becomes stale because you're no longer providing value. You're no longer showing up as a unique figure. You're now just maintaining and trying to keep up. In fact, you become like a repellent because you're chasing results, you're chasing people, chasing money, rather than serving them and attracting them because you're simply showing up in a unique way, and you're doing so creatively because you're, on the flip side, you are creative, you're inspired. When you are so fixated on the structural, tangible aspect of things, you can also very much wrap up your identity and validation in your accomplishments. So this happened to me in my business not so long ago, where I basically lost myself in my business. My business became my identity, and I started cutting out friendships, relationships, commitments, social time. If it didn't serve my business, it was a no, because my whole life and my identity became my business. And when things weren't going well, I wasn't going well. Versus having my own identity outside of my business and being able to look at my business from an objective place and strategize and work on it in this healthy way. My self-worth, my validation was wrapped up in my income and the metrics, because literally 100% of my time, effort, energy was going towards my business. Now, on the flip side, the impact of finding a healthy balance, or more so a flow and a rhythm with your business, is that you simply become more magnetic. You become more attractive to work with, whether it be for your clients or your team members or just the general world that you expose yourself and your brand to. You become more attractive to everybody else because you are not this overbearing, trying to get something and manipulative figure. You are not micromanaging, you're not overloading your team. You literally can filter out, because you're not in hyper fight or flight mode trying to survive. You can literally filter out like what is not a priority and what is, and make better decisions. You can enjoy a balance and harmony with life and business, meaning you've got the boundaries down pat. You are not compromising or sacrificing your social time, your time with loved ones, your rest, your eating. Like so many people I know in business, particularly women, are not even eating, not even going to the bathroom, just to take care of their basic needs. And other than mentally exhausting you, you are literally giving your body signals that you are not safe, because you can't even physically take care of your own needs. So the inability to switch off, or the inability to rest, like feeling this sense of ease and balance and harmony with life and business, allows you to cure or address those things that otherwise are happening when you're too fixated on just the skill and tangible part of building a business. Okay. Not only that, when you have this healthy flow and rhythm with your business, it allows you to pivot, make changes and adjustments, and it allows you to depend on your inner knowing or your intuition to make better business decisions. Now, this might be a little bit woo-woo for those of you who are not spiritual, but in essence, this isn't even spiritual. This is literally your higher wisdom. This is you when you are in your most creative state. Just like you were when you started your business and you came up with a brilliant idea and you were inspired to create content. That is the play state that you get to enter and continue to be in when you are allowing yourself to work on this flow aspect of your business, okay? Second last thing is you get to stay in your zone of genius and you get to be a visioneer for your business. You get to be not just a CEO and look at all the numbers and figures and strategize, but you get to be a visionary for your business. Isn't that so exciting? So many people fall out of love with their business because it's just not exciting anymore. Like you're just literally in another 9-to-5 slaving away. But when things are fresh, just like a brand new relationship, everything is super exciting and you feel like anything is possible. So therefore, you are always excited by your work. Even if it is hard, you are excited by the challenge. You feel expansive and creative. And so you set yourself apart in your positioning in the industry, in your marketing, and you simply become magnetic, meaning that your sales and your selling processes begin to feel seamless and effortless. Can you see just how freaking powerful it is to not just work on learning like the above the iceberg things, like building tangible structures, and how important it is to focus on the parts underneath, the things that we as entrepreneurs can so easily bypass and say, oh, I can do that later. I can take care of myself later. I'll worry about celebrating later. We do this all the time, and I literally see my clients do it all the time. And I always draw the line. I'm always like, hang on, no. We need to acknowledge what is going on the intangible aspect and make sure that those intangibles are clean, clear, covered, checked in on. And so are your structural components of your business that keep it afloat, because it works together. In my Business Without Hustle framework, the first thing you have to know is that it's never just one dimensional. It's not just one or the other. You need the two to work in harmony. See, the health of your business will fall back on the health of either of these. And if they are out of balance, they are not going to work. And you are going to feel defeated and exhausted. It's only inevitable. So to give some proper definitions to this work before we dive into it, when I talk about the tangibles or the structural components of business, what I'm talking about, and in my webinar, you will learn a little bit more about each of these components. And then in my program, Business Without Hustle, you will also learn even more about how to build for each of these components. But here is just a rough breakdown. What are your structural components of business? The above the iceberg. I keep using this iceberg analogy because it's kind of fun. The blueprints of your business, the processes that make up your business operations, designed around protecting your values, your energy, your creativity. Things like your business wheel, which consists of your product suite, your marketing strategies, your cash flow streams, your back of house workflow and admin. All of these are the tangibles. These have more of a visible aspect to them, in that you literally are like, this is the stuff that you can see right in front of you. And they tend to be prioritized more than the intangibles. So then to define the intangibles in your business, it's things like the zone of optimal productivity. It's your creativity, your impact, and how those interplay, and how you work with your energy, how you work with your human design, how you think, like literally how your brain is programmed to think, how you problem solve. Another intangible is your communication styles. Perhaps also intangibles include your alignment to certain tasks that you're doing, like your list of to-do lists, your CEO activities. Another thing is your self-concept. This is huge, because if your self-concept is not in check, and you're somebody who, for example, in the area of money in your business, you always self-sabotage in that you can never seem to make over 100K or over $1,000 per month, it's probably got to do with, yes, the systems for how you repeatedly scale that $1,000, meaning you don't just make it once, but you have a system to make it over and over again. But it's also got to do with the intangible of doing the inner work of like asking yourself, why do I not believe I'm deserving of having $1,000 more? Or what is it about making more than what I'm used to seeing in my bank account that triggers something for me? And a lot of that has to do with your conditioning, with your programs, with your belief systems, your self-concept. So there's a lot of those identity level work that you have to do to support your business being able to thrive, because again, it falls back down on you. You are the visionary. The most important thing about this is that you recognize that a flow-based business has this healthy relationship where you are consistently working on the front end, the surface level end of your business, and the beneath the surface level end of your business. And they cannot, you cannot neglect them, because when you neglect one, you neglect the other. What allows anyone, any business, to have a structure and a rhythm and a flow is systems. Okay? I said it earlier, systems are like the MVP. However, they do sound unsexy, and we are not taught systems for the intangible aspect of the work in business. So we're taught systems to do with the structural part of our business, like systems for content creation, systems for selling, systems for lead generation, systems for creating a good product. We're taught all these things, we're given the tools. However, we're not given systems to have autonomy and longevity in the inner world, which is the gap that I have seen in the business industry, like I mentioned a billion times before. So remember that willpower is limited. You simply cannot rely on just willpower, which is why anything that you want to develop or cultivate, like a habit, for example, requires you to have a routine so that you can systemize it, automate it, and therefore spend less energy to do the work. Because when something is automatic to you, it is habitual, you are no longer spending as much willpower or energy to do it, you just start to do it. And that's how you begin to allow your business to operate on its own. What I have seen in the business space is that we have systems for external things. However, because of the lack of systems in the internal, what we find is that when something happens in our life and we don't know how to manage our thoughts, we don't know how to manage our emotions, we don't know how to work with our human design or how our energy is built, or we don't know how to operate and find our flow zone or find our flow triggers, these are the things that slowly chip away and sabotage our longevity in business. Because at the end of the day, even if you have a system that is working for you on the external, you literally need to have the internal self-concept, the belief shifts, the mindset tools to self-regulate, because life is always going to throw at you the curveballs. I like to think of it as, kind of like with getting fit, right? If you want to lose weight and go to the gym and eat cleaner, you can't just expect to go to the gym and eat like crap and not learn a single thing about nutrition and the food you're eating and expect to lose weight. You literally have to do the two. You have to do the external work on your body and work on cleaning up the internal systems and understanding how the feedback loop happens. Because it's only when you understand that relationship between the two that you can have a well-oiled machine and then create autonomy in that entire machine of your body and connect the dots when things are hard, like when it's Christmas season and you have to make better decisions. That autonomy and that seamlessness and effortlessness that seems to happen so effortlessly for people who have successful, thriving businesses and are living their best life at the same time and they're not stressed, comes from this well-oiled machine mentality. Okay, and that's what the Business Without Hustle system is here to teach you. When you have systems, you have freedom. And for me, my definition of freedom is to do more of what's in my zone of genius, to do less of what isn't, the freedom to rest more, the freedom to have choice with what I do with my time, to play, to live life, and build a business that I feel passionate about, a business that supports me. So we're going to go through our tangibles and intangibles, and I'm going to just blitz through this. Like I said, I dive deeper into each of these in my workshop, the Business Without Hustle workshop, which you can sign up for as you listen right now. And you definitely want to, because this is actually a really huge topic. It's literally modules long in my program. So I'm literally blitzing through this, okay? So your tangibles, I mentioned earlier that your tangibles consist of things like your irresistible product, your seamless sales system, and unique positioning in the marketplace, like a marketing strategy, and also flow-based workflows, systems for your like team, for your admin, for things that operate in the back end, the logistics basically. So your tangibles are typically recurring tasks that you want to create more autonomy in, because this is probably the easiest aspect of systemization in your business. Because a lot of the time, again, in the industry, this is already done for you. There are literal templates, experts there, and you can learn this from anybody. However, these need to be supported by the right kind of clarity, the right kind of advice, in that you don't want to just learn from anyone. Like if you're learning how to build a product suite, for example, a digital product suite or a coaching business, you don't want to just learn it from anybody. You want to learn from a mentor who holds similar values to you, because the style that they're going to teach you how to do that thing in is going to differ greatly to somebody who has completely opposing value systems. For example, I learned marketing and developing email marketing strategies from two different people, and one of them was very big on the hustle and grind approach, and a lot of the things they said, the standards that they held for what you needed to do, were very much like cutthroat, just get it done, versus I learned from somebody who was a little bit more intuitive and factored in feminine style of selling in the same with the same goal in mind, creating email systems. And it was so different, and I aligned obviously way more to the feminine, and I felt that that process of building my email marketing was so much easier than trying to do it the other way. So that's an example of like the value alignment. But anyway, the 5 components of a simple business wheel, which is again an example of one of the things in your tangibles, is number 1, your offer and product suite / your client delivery, how you deliver the service and what you have to do, basically. Number 2, marketing. So in your business wheel, you have an entire department of your business that is to do with marketing. So a system for when you create content, a workflow for editing, designing covers, writing captions, scheduling, the whole process for marketing for all of the platforms that you decide to use it for. The third area of your business involved in the business wheel is your cash flow and finances. So this is when you're budgeting, it's how your, what percentage of sales are coming through what products, it's your financial tracking, things like that. Number 4 is your sales and conversion. So this is systems for closing your sales, for example, launch processes, pre-built funnels, trained sales teams to sell for you, to do consult calls for you, your consultation call processes. So this is another, again, separate aspect to your business that belongs in your business wheel. And the 5th and final piece of the pie of your business wheel is your front of house and back of house systems, or your administration logistics. So this is having systems for tracking client contracts, tracking your business goals, tracking anything, any data about your business, and having logistical things in place like standard operating procedures, indexes for where to find all those standard operating procedures, what your business backend looks like, what platforms you're using. So more of the operational side of things. This is what makes up your business wheel. As you may have seen, I've got 5 in that business wheel. And if you are not on the video version of this podcast, you can just imagine in your head, it's just a wheel with 5 pieces of a pie. Now, again, tangibles have to be supported by intangibles. But when it comes to evaluating whether your tangibles are actually clean and clear, like they're healthy, you need to ask yourself whether you have clarity on these 4 components that I'm going to give you for each of the sectors of your business. So for each of those sectors in your business that I just named, you want to ask yourself these 4 questions as a way to evaluate whether they are clean and clear, and to direct you into how to clean it up. So this is something that before I go into it, you want to do like at least once every 6 months for your business. Think of this as like an opportunity to take a business retreat or to literally just work on the overall moving parts of your business. Because like I said in the beginning, this is about the health of the entire machine. Who cares if you've got an amazing marketing strategy and you're paying a digital, what do you call that? You're paying an agency to run your marketing. If your other aspects of your business wheel are flat or unchecked, you are literally like a wheel. You literally will have a flat tire eventually. So make sure to do this properly and to do it regularly. So the 4 questions you want to ask yourself is, number 1, what is the problem that I need to solve in this area of my business in this quarter or right now? It's always helpful to set a time frame because there's always going to be so many things to worry about in each sector of your business wheel. But ask yourself, is it clear what the main priority is for this sector in my business in this quarter or in this month, whenever the time frame happens to fall for you? Second thing is, do I have the skill to do this myself, to fix this problem myself? Can I learn or outsource this? Right? Can I study it? Can I upskill it myself, or can I just outsource this? Number 3, what level of commitment do I need to dedicate to executing on this? This is huge because so many of my clients that I see are creating all these plans and doing all these audits for their business, but they're not dedicating the time to actually commit to doing it. So what is the point of planning if you're not going to actually execute? So ask yourself, what level of commitment do I need to dedicate? How much time in my week will this take? Is this a multiple month project or a sit down and get it done in a day project? How much energy, like when in the day am I going to be dedicating time to work on this solution for this sector of my business? Number 4, what structure or system can I put in place to support me executing on this or to support my team? What platforms do you need to subscribe to, or maybe what systems or tools would help you to actually execute on the task, like infrastructures that you can put in place, SOPs that maybe you need to film for your team so that there's less back and forth. What can I do to foolproof that process of getting this thing done? So it's kind of like an audit, these 4 questions. You want to ask yourself in relation to the problem you are solving for that area. Let's give you an example. Let's say in the area of marketing. In the particular area of marketing in your business wheel, the problem is that you're not getting enough leads into your business. So the question you're asking is, okay, what is the main priority for that area? Well, it's to generate more leads. Specifically, how many in this quarter? Well, if we want to hit X income goal, then I'm going to need to sell 10 quantities of this offering. And in order to get 10, what I know from my conversion rates on sales calls, in my sales processes, maybe you just do sales calls for converting, then you need to ask yourself, like, how many sales calls do I need to get onto and how many leads would I need to generate? So if, again, you want 10 and your conversion rate is 50%, then you're going to need to get in front of 20 people, 20 leads, get them all on calls, so 20 calls, and execute on that. Again, this is adaptable to your business. Perhaps your business is not at that scale. Perhaps your business is working with very different numbers. That is what you want to do. And then the second steps, like asking yourself, do I have the skill? Can I learn or outsource? Well, do you have the skill to generate those 20 leads onto a call, or do you need to outsource to somebody who will do something to like get you paid ads, or somebody who can help you generate leads in your Instagram? Or perhaps it's you just learning yourself and testing and trialing. Number 3, what level of commitment do I need to dedicate? What amount of time and energy is involved in order to generate 20 leads per month to hit that goal? Well, perhaps it requires of you a daily commitment of 20 minutes at the start of your day. Time-wise, maybe you can put a time on it, like 9 a.m. Energy-wise, it could be right after your gym session when you have the most energy, or right after your morning run, or at midday when you've gotten all of the hard things out of the way. So it's working with your flow zone as well, which I'm not going to get into today because it's a whole other topic. But it's working with, what environments help trigger your energy, what activities help you get clear and focused, and kind of anchoring and coupling those activities with tasks that, may be tedious or you may not want to show up for, but you have to. And question number 4 is what platforms, what tools, what systems need to be built? Perhaps for you, your system is simply just using a Google Calendar and a reminder system to prompt you to get on and generate leads every single day at a certain time for X amount of minutes. That is an example of using a tool or a structure. So that is all you need to do. I know I kind of made it sound so simple, but it is big work. This is literally, again, this is like a take yourself away on a business retreat and do this process. Before we move into the intangibles though, and how to find your flow in business by activating the systems involved with your intangibles, I want to remind you that these are big categories. These are huge topics that I feel like I could spend hours talking about, and that is why I've created an entire program on this. However, I am giving you the initial steps to basically build your foundations for your hustle-free business in the Business Without Hustle webinar. So if you have not yet signed up, this is your cue to do so you can get all the tea and have your foundations to how to build your business without hustle using my system. Okay, so let's talk intangibles. Intangibles are what you need to create a healthy rhythm of flow in your business. They are the hidden fairies. I don't know why I said fairies. They're literally the hidden MVPs, superheroes of your business. Because like I said earlier, if you don't have these intangibles in check, your business will literally implode, or it will just feel exhaustive. And yes, you might create the result you want, but you will realize sooner or later that it is not the business that you signed up for, and you will feel trapped by it. I see this happen all the time. Take my word for it. And if you are anywhere in a place in your business right now where it does already kind of feel like that, you're probably headed down that direction. And this is your sign to check in on this aspect of your business. Because you know what? You might have great systems in place for the tangibles in your business. You might have a very well-oiled machine in the front end, but your diet, your internal state, what you're feeding yourself on the regular is slowly chipping away at your longevity in business. And it's only a matter of time until you wake up one day and you're like, what am I doing? This doesn't align. And unfortunately, the consequence of not working on your intangibles is you give up. I see so many business owners literally throwing in the towel of their business model, and maybe sometimes even starting a brand new business because the one you've built just feels way too exhaustive for you, when really all you required was the intangibles and the tools related to longevity and flow and rhythm in your business in order to keep a healthy pulse with your business. Okay, so the 5 components of the intangibles that I sort of mentioned earlier, there are a little bit more, but I'm just going to mention the 5. Is 1, a secure self-concept and identity, like I said earlier. Number 2, your ability to self-regulate and self-manage your focus and your energy. Number 3, it's value-centered vision for your business and your lifestyle, keeping in mind your business is a part of your life. I don't separate them in my world. So making sure that your values are at center for every decision you make in your business and lifestyle. Your freedom-based goals, meaning you define what freedom looks like for you, and your goals are set around that. Checking in when your goals are actually sabotaging your freedom or your experience of freedom. And 5, balanced feminine and masculine energy, so all the energetics around it. Now, I do talk a lot about flow state as well, which is a practice, a modality, an area of neuroscience that is incredibly amazing. I have not released too much content on it as of this release of this video and this podcast. However, I will be doing a series on flow state mastery, which isn't just exclusive to those of you in business. It's literally a mental state that anybody can access to achieve peak performance and peak quality of work. And so I teach my clients in Business Without Hustle how to flow hack and how to find their flow state and their flow triggers, but it is one component and a tool that I integrate into the Business Without Hustle system. But today I wanted to give you a little bit of a glimpse by helping you find your flow center, which is essentially an integration of, if you think of like a Venn diagram with 3 circles, overlapping circles of 1, your values, 2, your goals and energy, and 2, your goals, and 3, your energy. So in the middle of your goals, values, and energy is your flow center. That is where you unlock your flow and potential through balance. That is the key word, balance. Because finding a healthy rhythm in your business, in your intangibles that will support your tangibles, is about balance. Balancing the actions, the energy, the thoughts, the self-concepts that underpin the goals that you have in your life. So the learning, the skill set, the mastery, and the energy where you put your awareness and your presence and your time, as well as your values, which is to do with your purpose, your mission, your processes. So I'm gonna give you some reflection questions to evaluate where you are at, because some of you guys maybe are placing too much emphasis on your goals and your values, and you are a little bit off center, and that's why you're not in your flow. And that's where you need to learn how to reevaluate and ask yourself these questions to get back into flow center. Because the magic of being and operating in your flow center is that you get to make such strong, clear, and decisive decisions in your business that really do serve you and the results you want to create. And the best part is your results feel very effortless. They seem to come to you with very little effort. And again, it works when you have systems in place in your tangibles, but in your intangibles, it works even better when you have that support, basically, because it's a feedback. I've said it a billion times. So your intangibles in relation to flow center, values centered vision. So in the values category, the question you want to ask yourself is, what do you value? Don't ask yourself, what your business values. Ask yourself, what do I personally value? Because you're the one who's at the front of your business. For me, it's space, authenticity, and leadership. And the question you want to ask then is, how do you honor these values with your decisions in your business and in your life? Again, come back to center, ask yourself these questions, and then get to the next category. Goals, your freedom-based goals. What are your goals and desires? And how do those allow you to experience more of what you value? So how do I experience more authenticity, which is a value of mine, with the goals that I have set? So if I were to make more income, aka let's say the goal is double the income as my current job so I can leave the job and go full-time in my business, how does that goal support me living in the value of authenticity? How does that goal support me living in the value of leadership? Because what I teach in this program is that your values are like your compass. They are like your North Star. You want to always filter everything through your values, because your values are always ever evolving based on who you are and what matters to you. And so anytime that your values are not the filter that you use to decide something, it's going to become misaligned. And it's important that you check in on what your values are at any given point of your journey, because they can evolve. And what will you start to say yes or no to in order to honor these goals? Number 3, the final kind of circle, is energy. Where is your awareness going? Where is your time going? This is to do with your ability to self-regulate and manage your focus and energy and time. So where you are mostly present again, you might be doing certain things in your business, or you might be thinking about a certain project, but are you actually present with it? Are you actually giving it your full energy? Because as we know, what we actually really focus on expands. So sometimes we can be doing a certain task, but really be focused on something else. And that's why the output of it is not that great. The quality is not that great. So the question's like, what are you overcommitting to that isn't really moving the needle forward? What do you need to become more sensitive to? How can you be present with what your current capacity is right now? Like, do you have other things on your plate that you can't say no to, that you are obligated to? And just factoring that in. Because the thing with this sweet spot of you operating in your flow center is that when you are operating in a balanced place between clear value-centered vision, freedom-based goals, and your ability to self-regulate and manage your energy, is that you're able to sustain. It's a longevity thing. And you might think that's not, who cares about that? Because if I've got the motivation or if I've got the systems, then I don't need to worry about all this emotional woo-woo stuff. But I really want you to understand the long-term game of this. Because if you are chipping away at all your tasks and you're hustling to make it happen, but you are not checking in on where your energy is going or what goals you are working towards and why they matter to you, why are they valuable to you, then you're going to get to that end goal and you're going to be like, this is not what I signed up for. This does not make me happy. I thought I wanted this, but it doesn't. Or you might find that, you have so much of your goals ticked off, or you're living your values-based lifestyle that you said, but realize when you get there that the values are not really reflective of what you value now. A lot of people start their business when they're young and they value being able to buy the nice cars and the luxury handbags and all these things as a flex or as a status indicator or a way to feel proud of themselves. But sometimes because the business building journey unfolds and you mature as you go, or your values change, you might get there, buy the bag and realize damn, I don't even care about the bag. I actually care more about treating my loved ones or being able to have experiences like eating amazing food while traveling. These are things that you really want to be mindful of along the way. Otherwise, you might just find degree by degree later down the line, you are way far off from where you want it to be. So remember to always check in and operate from your flow center, because when you operate your business from your flow center, which is, again, it's a tool, one of the tools that I teach in your intangibles, that is where you will begin to thrive. So in summary, you want to check on the health of both your tangibles and intangibles in business. You never want to underestimate the importance of doing the inner work. Don't just work on your business as the machine, the external aspect of the business. Check the pulse on the heart too. Check the condition of the internal state and ask yourself often, am I operating in a healthy rhythm with my business? Am I operating in my flow zone? I referenced in the, I think, previous episode or the one before it, how it's kind of like the maintenance man at a theme park going around ever so often, routinely oiling the machines, checking off his checklist of things to check in on, and making sure that everything's functioning right. You are the own maintenance man of your business, and this intangible and tangible is so important for you to maintain, okay? And lastly, refuse to let other people who don't value or at least exemplify the freedom-based lifestyle and values that you hold, refuse to let them tell you what to do. Create your own path. Let your business model, your business operations be unique to you, and learn to build your own hustle-free business by using principles and frameworks like the Business Without Hustle system to custom curate your business and your journey. Because at the end of the day, you are your own person. Your energy is unique to you. Your preferences are unique to you. And while there are templates that you can copy and paste, it's not about taking the entire model and just adopting it to you. It's about learning from them and understanding the frameworks of what builds a successful, sustainable, scalable, and seamless business. And then allowing yourself to work with your energy and your unique preferences and goals and values to build a business that really does light you up from the inside out. I personally have seen so many people and have worked with so many clients who are just exhausted by the strategies and systems that they have put in place and just feel like they want to give up, or they feel like they're just trapped by their business. And my mission with Business Without Hustle, the webinar, as well as the entire program, and even things like flow-based business and what I teach in Flow State Mastery, is to allow you to see that business does not have to be this treacherous, arduous journey like how it used to be. There are new learnings, new discoveries, new research, and literal support and backing and research to promote that business can really be well integrated, and it really can change your life while you change others with it. For so many entrepreneurs, like, there has just been this stigma of the only way to grow is to hustle, and I firmly believe the opposite. Hustle is so lost century, and it's about learning to get out of your own way and let your effortless ease and your natural abundance really trickle out, because that's what's going to create what you want for you more effortlessly. So again, if you found this video helpful, if you found this podcast insightful, please check out the Business Without Hustle webinar, which you can sign up for right now, and go learn some important fundamental stuff that is going to change how you operate your business forever. All right, my loves, thank you for joining me in this episode, and I'll chat to you on the next one. Bye.